places where the ashes of some of the victims were poured are highlighted near the crematorium. Beside the crematorium, there's the Alley of Nations, made of stone blocks with the names of countries from which the largest number of prisoners were deported to Terezín during the war. Behind the road opposite to the Jewish cemetery, there's the Soviet Soldiers' Cemetery. The exhumed remains of 49 Soviet soldiers who died during the liberation of Czechoslovakia were moved here in 1977. Care of the Jewish community of Prague. Urgent repairs and adaptations were made, and also a tradition of commemorating the victims of Jewish genocide during the Nazi occupation were established. In 1947, the Jewish cemetery was placed in the care of the National Suffering Memorial, which was later renamed Terezín Memorial. It still takes care of the cemetery. In 1948, the Jewish communities and the former prisoners decided to do the ceremonial act of replanting a small maple tree. It was planted in the yard by the children from the ghetto. The so-called Tree of Terezín Children was placed on the right side behind the crematorium and became well known around the world as a symbol of the tragic fate of the youngest prisoners of the ghetto. There are now hundreds of trees around the world which have grown up from its seeds and rootstocks. They remind us of the suffering and death of the Jewish children who became the victims of the Holocaust. Unfortunately, the original tree was damaged by a large flood in 2002 and died. Only the dried tree trunk remains. Near to the tree trunk, there's a new tree raised from the rootstock of the old one. This new tree is very special, especially for the former prisoners. It's a symbol of the strength and indomitability of those who were supposed to be exterminated by the Nazis. The families of the victims started to honor their memory from the beginning of the 1950s. They started building little monuments, all of which looked the same. Small, flat granite blocks with a blackboard in front. Not only the names of the victims who died in Terezín, but also the names of their family members who died after being transferred from the ghetto to the concentration camp are carved on the blackboards. These little monuments were spread around the cemetery. In 1947, the Jewish cemetery was placed in the care of the National Suffering Memorial of those who were supposed to be exterminated by the Nazis.